Hello everyone, in this video we're gonna get into classifying rational numbers. Now as you know there are four different sets of numbers and I already have the Venn diagram ready to go as you can see it. And just try to remember that we always go inside out. So the first set of numbers that we get into are natural numbers, or an easier way for you to remember is just counting numbers, which tells you pretty much the answer. It's just the way you count. So when we try to figure out any number that falls into this category, I just start counting. One, two, three, on and on and on. Now, the big thing is here is that we do not include the zero, as when you are counting, you don't start counting by zero, one, two, three, on and on and on. So that's the basic misconception that students have. So what I'm gonna do is, under this section, I'm at a zero there, and I'm gonna cross it out. We do not include a zero on counting numbers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write down 1, 2, 3, etc., etc., etc. So those are the counting numbers or natural numbers. The second category is very similar to that, whole numbers. The only difference between whole numbers and natural numbers is zero. Whole numbers do include the zero, so 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., etc., etc. Those are whole numbers. Okay. Integers. As we know, integers have positive numbers, negative numbers, and zero. So what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to have 0. I'm going to have a negative number, -1, -2. I'm going to have positive numbers, +1, +2. Now here's a misconception that a lot of people have. They tend to say that integers have no fractions or decimals. Well, that's true to a certain point, but you got to be careful when they give you fractions. I'm going to give you an example. 4 over 4, it is considered a fraction, but if you solve the fraction, 4 divided by 4, well, that has a value of 1, which is actually an integer. So be careful there when you say that fractions are not integers. That could be a misconception too. What they're trying to say is, for example, 1/5. Now 1/5, it is a fraction, but it's a part, not a whole number. Now that's when a number is not considered an integer, because it's not a whole. It doesn't represent a whole number. It represents just a part of a whole. 4 over 4, it is an integer. 1/5, not an integer. Same thing with decimals. If I have 7.00, or what we tend to say is $7, well, that represents a whole number, so that will be an integer. But if we have $7.30, well, then that's where a decimal is not considered an integer, as the 30 cents right here doesn't represent a whole number. So 7 3/10, or 7.3, is not an integer. All right. So make sure you remember those little things about fractions and decimals when you get into integers. And the last section we have, it's rational number. We tend to say that everything is irrational. We got to be careful with that too, as there's an exception. Rational, it includes 0, it includes negative numbers, it includes positive numbers, it includes fractions that are parts, it includes fractions that are whole numbers, it includes decimals that are whole numbers, it includes decimals that are parts. But there's an exception, and that exception is when we have a fraction with a denominator of 0. That is more like an irrational number. So that is the only exception of a rational number. So please pay attention when you complete the assignment on this. Make sure you check out this video for reference. Thank you.